Hey everyone, this is Katie, and you are watching Divine Shine Healing, Mediumship, and Tarot. And I wanted to do your daily talk today. Um, I wanted to talk to you about two different experiences I had. And these experiences are similar because at the time that I was reading these people, they both didn't, oh, they weren't aware at first that the message was exactly specific to them until a little bit later. Um, I really do like these experiences. The first one uh, started at the gym. I was working at every gym, but this I was at this one specific gym. And there's this older woman who came in. She was actually in her 80s, and she was so cute. And she's like this little Italian woman. And um, the kids who work at the front desk like don't really know, they're not as experienced as I am. So she was asking some questions and they were kind of just not giving her the service I thought that she deserved. So I walked up to her and I introduced myself, and she said she was interested in classes. So I said, "Would you like me to show you to the classroom?" So we walked over to the studio, and I was showing her that, and we were talking, and she was telling me how um, she was so sad um, since her husband passed away. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that," and I assumed it was recently, and by the way that she was talking, and then I was like, "When did he pass away?" And she's like, "Oh, 5 years ago," or something. I can't remember exactly. I was like, "Oh, wow." And we just really clicked, and I ended up sitting down, and probably to the dismay of my manager, in the front of the gym on the little like stool, and talking to her for quite some time, um, kind of just like getting into the spiritual conversation. And and she's crying and I'm crying, and I said, "Hey, well, if you want to continue this conversation outside, I'll give you my number, and I do this thing, and if you're interested, we can try it." So I gave her my number, and then I hi. Should I stop? Okay. Gave her my number, and then we met up like the next week um, at a restaurant, and we had lunch, and then we were by a lake, and we were. I was like, okay, well, I didn't have an area to do Reiki, so we were just like sat underneath a tree, and I started doing Reiki on her, and um, oh, the night before, actually, this is interesting. So she's an 84-year-old woman, beautiful woman, but a little bit more mature, and and I don't know her that well. I mean, we connected, but don't know her super well. So um, the night before, I was confirming when and where we were going to meet, and so I texted her, like, "Hey, just wanted to make sure we're on for tomorrow. I'll see you at this time. Sound good?" And she's like, "Yep, sounds good." I was like, "Okay, beautiful. Have a good night." And I was like, that was really weird because I don't even call my friends beautiful. It stood out in my mind like that was weird. Um, just like kind of uncharacteristic of me in that setting with this woman, you know? So, anyways, so that was just a side note. But so it comes to the day of actually meeting, and we're having lunch, and she's like, "Yeah, it was really strange last night when you texted me beautiful because my husband always used to call me that." And I was like, "Okay, well, like I understand that, but it was just like, all right, so it was already starting. Um, so I described their in their home. They lived in a really affluent area, and I described their home, and I described this room. I felt it was like a library or a study, which it was, and I saw in my mind's eye um, like French doors, the window pane doors. It was like wooded with the glass, and they would open up, but there was a desk, and it was covered in papers, and she's like, "Oh, you're describing his office or his study." I was like, "Okay." And So she's laying down. I'm doing Reiki, so I'm behind her. My eyes are closed. And I was like, and I feel like my hands, and I kept going like this, but she can't see me. Like my hands are like spread. Like I just, like, either like there's something with the hands. It's like, I've got a hand on it. I've got to handle it. I've got to, I don't know, something with this, and she's like, no, that doesn't mean anything. No, no, no. Okay. Okay. So, the two big things so far were the beautiful, and then describing the room, and then some other stuff happened that is, I can't remember exactly because it's been a long time, but, um, she, she asked me, and this is so cute because, um, she's 84, and she's like, will you ask him a question for me? And I was like, sure. She's like, I want to know if it's okay if I see other people. And I was like, oh, you have a boyfriend at 84 and I don't? What the heck? Just kidding. No, so I was like, okay. So I closed my eyes and just asked the question in my mind's eye. And then I received this image. And I said, I see a cabin. It's on ice. There's ice everywhere. And I see a man. I'm assuming it's your husband, and it feels like maybe your son. And they're going fishing, and they come back and like to the cabin, and you're there, and you're like cooking dinner or tending to the fire. Does this make sense to you? And she's like, yeah. She's like, they used to go ice fishing all the time, and we had a cabin. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, so this is actually the first time I'd asked a question like that, I think. So I didn't really understand until I realized. I was like, oh, okay. So you asked if it was okay to see other people, and the message I received is about fish. So what I said is that there's plenty of fish in the sea. So that was that. Okay, so we finished, and then she sat up, and we were talking. She's like, yeah, I can't believe that you got so many things right, and this and that, and it's like you were there. And I was like, yeah. And then my hands, I just couldn't feel my hand. And she's like, oh my God, Katie. I was like, what? She's like, he used to always say, shit, I can't remember. You see these hands? These hands were made to make money. And she's like, my son now owns the business that my husband used to have, and he actually got a imprint of his hands in concrete like this because that's what his dad used to do. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that you see it now. So, yeah, so that's that. So that's one story I wanted to share with you. And then the second one is really cool. Well, it's not cool. The second one is really profound, actually, and I love this story, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's not heavy per se. It's just this one definitely stopped me in my tracks for a few days. But anyways, so I had a friend who I met, mutual friends, whatever. And I knew that he was a retired Recon Marine. And we were all hanging out, and then, went to say goodbye. I just met them. It was like, bye, like give you a hug. And then when I was like letting go, I kept hearing sun-kissed, 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 sun-kissed. And I was like, okay, that's really weird because I don't even know this man, and now I'm going to sound like a crazy person. But I was like, so I think I have a message for you. I'm like, I keep hearing the word sun-kissed. Does this mean anything to you? He's like, well, I had a sun-kissed today. Like, I literally drank a sun-kissed. And I was like, no, that's not it. And he's like, no, it doesn't mean anything. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm crazy. So I just go about my way. And then, gosh, I'm trying to remember the story. So so it kept bothering me for a few days, and I didn't have a way to contact him. So I reached out to our mutual, like, I was bartending at the time, so like our mutual bar friend. I'm like, hey, can you get a hold of your friend, because I need to talk to him. I've started to receive some more information, and I just want to see if this is true. And she's like, sure. So I got in contact with him, and I said, hey, did anything else come to you with the sun kissed? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, does this mean anything to you? I see this like a heavily wooded area. I see this house or this cabin in the woods. It's like an A-frame house, and it's really it's kind of dark outside. It's like twilight, so it's darkening, but um, the house is very lit up. It's like there's like a fire inside, or the light inside is really. He's like, it's sun kissed. I was like, oh, what? And he's like, oh my god, that's the house I grew up in. I'm like, okay. He's like, I used to walk home from school every day, and I would see it. And at that time of day, the sun was hitting the A frame, the whatever A frame of the house, and I would think to myself, it looks so beautiful. It's sun kissed, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. So um, he kind of became emotional at this time, and um, I later came to find out that his stepdad had passed away, and that's what I felt was like fatherly energy vibes. Um, and so I asked in my head, like, why is this important? Why is this important? And what I received was that um, when you look back on the memories of the house, don't just don't take the bad with the good. Just leave the bad and just take the good. And, he becomes emotional again, and he just said that it was a difficult. There were some difficult times with the family, and that um, difficult times with the family, and that he has not looked at he has not looked at the memories from that time period um, in detail or very fondly, and kind of was searching for a way to uh, process that in his mind. So that was really important. And then I said that I was receiving more, and um, what I felt was that, oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so before I had that thought, what I felt next was, I felt like I was in a period of waiting. So he was deployed numerous times. I came to find out, and he did. He's a Recon Marine, so like the baddest of badasses, and he's like, you know, laying in the cut for like 40 days or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sure that had to be really hard. And so what I told him was, um, oh, sorry, it's been a while and I have not visited this memory. So I asked him, um, I said, oh my gosh, I need to do this whole video over. Sorry, I'm not going to. Anyways, so what I said is like, I see you when you're deployed, like on a mission during a difficult time. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you had to see and endure. And when you needed some type of solace to get you through those tough, dark times, you would call upon the memory of this house. Is that true? And he said, yes. I'm like, okay. So what the message I was getting was, don't take the bad with the good. Leave the bad and just remember the good, like the good times that you took from that experience to get you through your hard times in the future. Just remember that and leave the rest. And so um, that was that. And that was a really, that was a tough one. A good tough one. It was just very, I don't even know the word. It just, I felt very privileged to be able to deliver that message. And I thought it was a pretty special one. So, yeah, so that's that. Well, I only talked for 15 minutes today, but I talked, so. All right. Um, if you are interested in a personal reading, please check out the description box below for all the details. Please comment, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I will